Let's go ahead and go over 5.6. This homework deals with inequalities, solving or checking solutions and graphing them. With these checking solutions, we just need to remember that we have ordered pairs, x, comma, y, and we ask, does it fit? Does it work? Is it a correct solution? So we have x, comma, y, and we plug those in. X goes in for x, and y goes in for y. So let's plug it in. Remember, when you plug in, you always put it in parentheses. So we have parentheses 3 for x, and then y is 2. So plus 2 is greater than 5. What's 3 plus 2? That would be 5. Is 5 greater than 5? The answer is no. It's equal to, but it's not greater than. So that means that 3 comma 2 is not part of the solution set. It's not a solution. Okay, now we go on to the next one. X and y. So we're going to plug that in. 5 minus 3 is greater than or equal to 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. Is 2 greater than or equal to 2? The answer is yes. So that means it is part of the solution, or it is a correct solution. Okay, here we have x and y. So we're going to plug in an x for x. Negative 1 plus 2 times y, which is 2, is less than or equal to 4. Now remember your order of operations. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and addition, subtraction. Okay. With this order of operations, we have to do the multiplication first. What's 2 times 2? That's 4. Then what's 4 plus a negative 1? That would be 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 4? That answer is correct. So it is part of the solution. Okay. 5 times 2 plus, what's that? That would be negative 2. Needs to be less than 7. Again, we do the multiplication first. What's 5 times 2? That's 10. Plus a negative 2 is the same thing as minus 2. 10 minus 2 is 8. Is 8 less than 7? The answer is no, so it is not a solution to that inequality. Negative 1, we have 3 times negative 1 minus 4 times negative 1. All of that needs to be greater than 6. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 4 times negative 4, include that negative right there. So negative 4 times negative 1 is a positive 4. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. Is 1 greater than 6? The answer is no, it is not. Therefore, it is not part of the solution set. Negative x minus 2y. Plug in our x and our y. So we have negative, and the x always goes in parentheses. So that's negative 2 inside the parentheses minus 2 times y, which is negative 3. All of that needs to be greater than or equal to 5. So now we do the multiplication. Negative distributed in there. Negative times a negative is a positive 2. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. 2 plus 6 is 8. Is 8 greater than or equal to 5? That is correct, which means it is part of the solution set. So that's how you do 1 through 6. Just plug it in. Now, the graphing side, all we're doing is plugging in 0, 0. We want to know if this point is or is not part of the solution. If it is part of the solution, that means it needs to be on the shaded side. If it is not part of the solution, it means it is not to be on the shaded side. So if it works, it should be shaded. If it doesn't work, we don't shade it on that side. So let's try it out. Here we only have y, so we're going to plug in a 0 for y. Y is less than 4. Is that correct? Yes. Y is less than 4, which means it needs to be shaded. So we're going to shade that point, or that side of the line. Okay? That side of the line. Now again, we put in 0. Is 0 greater than -1? That is correct, which means we're now shading that side. The side that includes that point, because that point has to be part of the shaded side. Plug in a 0. Is 0 greater than 3? No, it is not. If it is not, then we don't shade this point. We shade the other side. Okay? Put in our 0. 0 is less than or equal to -1. That is not correct. It is greater than -1. So we need to shade the side that does not include the 0. Okay, so now we check this point, put in a 0. Is 0 less than -2? No, it is not. So that means it is not part of the shaded answers. So we shade the other side. Put in a 0. Is 0 greater than -2? See here, 0. Is 0 greater than -2? The answer is yes, which means that is definitely part of the shaded side. So we shade the side that includes that point. Now this one, the other side here, 13 through 18, has 2 of them. Well, that's fine because we're trying to find out 0, 0. We want to know if that one is part of the shaded area. So we just plug in a 0 here and a 0 here. Well, we have 0 is less than, what's 3 times 0? That's 0, plus 1 is 1. Is 0 less than 1? Yes, it is, which means we shade that side that includes that point. So if the answer is yes, you shade the side with the 0, 0. If the answer is no, you shade the side that does not have the 0, 0. So we have 0 is greater than or equal to, that goes away because -0 doesn't matter, 1. Is 0 greater than 1? No. Again, if the answer is no, we shade the opposite side because that's telling us that that point is not part of the solution. 0 minus 0 is 0. Is 0 less than 2? Yes. If the answer is yes, then we shade all of that side. And number 16. 0 plus 0 is 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to -3? Yes, which means 0, 0 has to be part of the shaded solution. Plug in a 0, 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. Is 0 less than 4? The answer is correct. It is, which means it is part of the shaded solution. Plug in a 0, 0. That gives us 0. Is 0 greater than 6? The answer is no, which means that is not part of the shaded area, which means we shade the other side. So that's how you do those. You're just plugging in a point and seeing if it's part of the answer or not. Same thing happens down here. Only here you got a story problem. You're dealing with a company that sells digital cameras and cell phones. The store makes a profit and we're trying to find out what the profit is. Well, the line given is the profit margin. Okay, that's where they make a profit. So we ask ourselves, if they sell 0, can they make a profit? No, they can't, which means that's not shaded, which means we have to shade everything on the other side of that line, not that little point. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, let me know.